Hello everyone, good morning. Today we are going to begin 9.3 day 1. And 9.3 is on basically solving rational equations. So what are rational equations, you say? Well, rational equations comes from the word rational, which means fraction. So you can think of it's an equation that involves fractions. So that's what you're going to be doing. And that's what we're going to be solving for the values that will make the equation true. So we will be we will be able to solve equations graphically. So we're going to be using decimals to solve for day 1. So day 1 is involving graphing calculators. So hopefully you guys have your calculators ready. Your decimals tab is open. Let's first again take a look at what is rational equation. The definition is it's an equation that contains one or more rational expressions. So once again, it is an equation that contains one or more fractions. That is the best way to describe what is a rational equation. Let's take a look at example 1. So here is a rational equation. On the left side, we have a fraction, right? So that's what makes this a rational equation. And remember, one thing about fractions is that you cannot divide by 0. So if I tell you that I can do magic, I can break your calculator without even touching it. You can go ahead and follow me on my instructions and I will break your calculator. So go ahead and take out your regular calculators and I want you to take 5 and divide it by 0 and tell me what is on your calculator. So go ahead and take 5 divided by 0 and you'll be able to see that your calculator is going to tell you, what did I say? Error, right? It's broken. All of a sudden, your calculator is not functioning. Well, that's because the calculator is not trained to divide by 0. Well, how do you divide 5 apples between 0 people? Well, I don't know because I don't know how many people there are to divide. So that's why the calculator is saying, I don't know what the answer. I don't know how many each person can get because there's no one to divide. So that is why in math, you cannot divide by 0. It's a big no-no, right? So if you have a fraction here, we need to exclude the number that is going to make it 0, to make it turn into 0. So think about, in the whole wide world, what number, let's focus on the bottom, what number is going to make that bottom a 0? So if you think about it for a second, you'll be able to see that if I let x equal to 4, then 4 minus 4 will give me 0, and that's a big no-no. So therefore, I will have to exclude that value that is going to make it a 0. So here's how you can show your work. So you can show your work by setting x minus 4 cannot equal to 0, right? So then what are the values that is excluded? So then x cannot equal to 4 because that is going to make this bottom 0, correct? So we call that the excluded value, and from now on, I will write EV to represent the excluded value, just like that. Okay, so in this case, the excluded value is x cannot equal to 4. Let's take a look at the one on the right-hand side. So another problem, what is the restriction of x cannot be in order for the bottom not to be 0? So again, we can set x plus 2 cannot equal to 0. Subtracting 2 from both sides, I can get x cannot equal to negative 2, and that is the excluded value. So x cannot equal to negative 2 for this problem. So that is how you find the excluded value. So hopefully you can understand how to do that. Number 2, solve the equation using a graphing calculator. So let's go ahead and have you guys open up decimals and enter in one of the box the equation y1, which is equal to the left hand side, which is x over x minus 3. And y2, so go ahead and open your tabs and let it equal to the right hand side, which is 2. Okay, so hopefully you have those two, and you should have something already coming up. And go ahead and make it small enough, the graph. You can zoom in and zoom out so that it looks something like this. This is what I have, and that is basically how you can tell. And now you're looking for the solution. That means you're looking for where these curves touch the line. Remember, the second line is y equals 2, and so therefore it is a line that is horizontal. So I have the place where they meet is 6, 2. So the x value is what I'm looking for because the y value is just y equals 2, the second line. So the x value is what I need. So I have x equals 6 as a solution. So x equals 6 is the answer. And then that's the first way. So using graphing calculator, I have the answer is x equal to 6. Well, to kind of make a connection for the next day for you, or to, look into one step ahead, I'm going to solve this problem using algebra for you just to show that the answer is the same. So I start with the equation x over x minus 3 equals 2. I'm going to put a 1 underneath and cross multiply. So I have x times 1, which is x, equals 2 times x minus 3. And I'm going to distribute the right hand side and then subtract. I have negative x equals negative 6, and therefore divided by negative, I have x equal to 6. So I just showed you that I get the same answer when I'm using the algebra and the graph. It's the same answer. So that is the concept of solving the problem using graph. So go ahead and let's try the second problem. So you guys are going to try this problem before you look at the answer. Again, you can clear or either open up a new tab or clear your decimals, and you're going to enter the left hand side as y1, y equals x over x plus 4, and then you're going to enter the second equation for y equals negative 3 and see what you get. So you should have something that looks like this right here as your equation, and you can go ahead and put your cursor over on the dot where they meet, and you should have negative 3 comma negative 3. So the y value is the second one, y equals negative 3, and the first value of x is what we're looking for. So therefore x equals negative 3 is where they meet, right? So therefore x equals negative 3 is the answer. And so let's go ahead and use math to verify. So let's use algebra. So x over x plus 4 equals negative 3. Put a 1 underneath, cross multiply. I have x equals negative 3 times x plus 4. Distributing, negative 3x minus 12 equals x. I'm going to add 3x to both sides. So I have 4x equals negative 12, and divided by negative 4 divided by 4, we get x equals negative 3. So I just found the answer. It is the same exact answer that we found in a graph. So now you know that solving graphically and algebraically, it gives you the same answer. Okay, so let's take a look at the discussion question for today. If two sides of the equation are graphed as separate functions, will the graph intersect? And if so, where? So yes, they will intersect at the solution point. Okay, so the point where they intersect, just like right here, where we found, is the solution point. Okay, that is the end of the lesson for today. Hopefully that is easy enough for you to grasp, and go ahead and explore decimals and graphing it on the assignments that you're given. And then I will see you guys next time. Have a nice day.